Holly with Stella Mari's Quilts, and today I want to talk about a few things that are what I classify my favorite things. So go ahead and grab your cup of tea and let's get started. So today I wanted to talk about my favorite things, and these are a few assorted tools. Some of them are more expensive than others, but I find them to be essential in my space. I have lots of other tools that I do use, but these are my basics that I think if you're a beginner quilter, these are the ones to invest in. The first one is a good cutting mat. This is my small version of my mat, but I find it very helpful to have a mat that fits the size of my table that I can actually cut on. So I have a larger mat that is what I use in most of the videos, and it's a 36 by 24 wide mat. And that's what I use for pretty much all of my large cutting. A smaller mat, if you're able to, is also great because I can stack up pieces here that I can bring them over to my machine and just piece with them sitting there. And if it requires trimming, it's an easy mat to have right next to my machine for those quick trims in between, sewing seams together. So I don't have to get up and go to my cutting station. So that's my mat. A couple things to know about your mat is that you do want to get one that has a self-healing surface, and that mat's going to last a lot longer. It does cost more, but trust me, it's worth spending the extra money on that. The next tool you're going to need is a good ruler. I have this ruler. This one actually I got from Missouri Star Quilt Company, and it is a 6-inch by 24-inch ruler. This is great when I'm cutting down yardage. Some people like a 5-inch wide because it works really well with pre-cuts, but having this nice longer ruler is great if you're using yardage, and it's just a really good multi-purpose ruler. It's also really good to have a ruler that has your angle degree cut lines here. So I've got a 60, a 45, and a 30-degree line on this ruler. Makes doing some different cuts without having to have specialized templates a little bit easier if I can do it off with my standard ruler. If you can do the templates, it's great, but in a pinch, this works really well too. I recommend finding rulers that work with your brain. So for me, having less lines all over works better for me. And this particular one just has the solid line going all the way across for the inch markings. And then it has smaller lines on those for like your 1/8 inch, your 1/4 inch, your 1/2 inch. So it's not as busy with lines all over the place and grids. Works great for me. Also, if you want to have some kind of a suction cup that this one's not wanting to pop off right now, but as a handle for your ruler, that can help to pick it up off the table when you need to. A little easier sometimes than trying to get your fingers under it to move it. It also can help when pushing down so that you can have a little bit better ergonomic kind of pressure onto your stuff. So a good ruler is really key. With your ruler, another thing to keep in mind is that rulers can slip. So having a ruler that maybe has a little bit of a grippy on the back is really helpful. Or if you don't have one, picking up some like true grips like this. These are just little silicone dots. Let me pull one out. They come on a sheet, and they're just little silicone dots that you can peel off and stick on your ruler wherever you want to put them so that it helps prevent your ruler from sliding while you're cutting. So also a very good, useful tool. And these are really pretty inexpensive. When sewing too, a lot of times we need to square our blocks. So finding a tool that works well for your brain to square, I typically will use either an actual square. Most of the time I need that 45-degree angle. So having that on there is really helpful. Or a lot of times I love the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers. So I have the A and the B, which is your whole inches and your 1/2 inches. One of these days I'm going to get the other set that they have with the 1/4 inch and 3/4 inch. It's on my bucket list to purchase. I just haven't done it yet. There's also tools out there. They're called block locks, and they work really well too. I've used other people's. I really think they're great tools. I just haven't purchased them yet. When you're quilting on a budget, it takes a little bit of time to build up your supplies. So these are the ones I have right now, and I use them a lot. Again, find one that works well for your brain. Everyone's a little different, but those are some options. Having a really good squaring tool that works well for your brain is going to save you a lot of heartache while piecing and making sure your blocks all finish at the right size, because you can just trim them square. The next key thing is to have a good rotary cutter. I have two. I have my normal standard straight rotary cutter, and I have my ergonomic one. I found recently that my wrist is getting a little bit sore when I'm doing a lot of cutting, so I opted to pick up this rotary cutter. I got this while my mom and I were at Road to California I guess it was in January, so this year. And this one's from a company called TrueCut. I love this rotary cutter. It's so smooth on my wrist. It really helps relieve a lot of that pressure. And they have a product with their cutters that is like putting a training wheel on your rotary blade. Their rulers actually have a little bit of a lip along the edges. So it has like a little lip that pokes up here, and then it has like a training wheel on your rotary cutter itself that you can attach, and then you just lock it in place and cut. It's so great for people who maybe are a little bit more wobbly when they're trying to cut, or that are a little weaker in the wrist, and it just gives you that secure feeling that you're getting a good straight cut. I don't have that problem myself, but my mom is a new quilter, and when she tried out that ruler that has that like runner on it, it was a game changer for her. So definitely worth checking out. And I'll have a link to their website in the description box below for anyone who wants to check that out. You do need some good blades. I like to use titanium blades. I get them in a 10-pack from a store called The Fabric Hut, and they work great. They do cost a little bit more than standard blades, but they last much, much longer. And with all the cutting that I do, I find it to be a really good investment. So you'll always need rotary blades, and you really should change those blades. The rule of thumb for a normal blade is after you cut each project and you move on to the next project, change your blade. I am very guilty of not following that rule, and I keep going until I find that I'm really pressing hard to get my cuts. Having the titanium blade just means my blade will last me well over into 6, 7, 8 projects before I feel like I really need to change that blade. So just a tip, titanium blades, they're awesome. A few other tools would be a seam roller. Not an expensive tool, it's pretty handy. And if you're doing a lot of blocks like a log cabin or a pineapple, or a lot of blocks that have sew this seam, flip, then sew another thing on side on this, and then flip, and it's a lot of press in between each seam. Having a good seam roller can really help you out and get a decent enough press from right next to your sewing machine, so you can move on to the next step without having to get up and go to the iron every single time. So I find this really useful. I don't use it on every quilt that I make, but there are certain ones that it's my best friend. I also like having a good pair of tweezers. These are kind of fun. My mother-in-law gave them to me. They have a little girl's face on them. It's pretty fun. But I like to use them sometimes when threading my needle. I can push the thread through the eye, and then I use the tweezers to grab on the other side and get my thread through. I don't always need it, but it comes in really handy. It also comes in handy if I'm trying to turn a corner on some applique. I can just squeeze the tweezers in, and that's a really great point to just use to turn your corners with. So I use it as my turning tool as well. I don't know about any of you, but I have a tendency to drop my pins on occasion. And I do have little people in our house that are toddlers and a little over that. And they'll bump something, and I want to make sure that there's no pins in the carpet of my studio. So having a good magnet to run over the carpet periodically and make sure I have all of my pins up is really handy. This one I have to actually get down on the floor, so sometimes I'll have my 4-year-olds do it for me, or even my teenage son will be like, hey, can you like magnet the carpet for a minute? And they get down for me and do it. But it is really handy if you drop some pins and you can just, right next to your seat, kind of just scooch down and pick up them with your magnet. Really handy. You also always want to have good marking tools. I have a few pencils, blue, white, a regular standard pencil. Mechanical pencils work really great because the width of the lead doesn't change as you continue to use it, whereas a standard pencil will become wider while you get to the point of you need to sharpen it. So I do tend to like mechanical pencils better, although in the videos a lot of times you see me with a normal pencil. They're typically freshly sharpened, and it's typically because my mechanical disappeared to some child who wanted to use it. But having good marking tools is great. One of these days, I think I will give a try to those pencils that have the clicking 3 different leads in one. I'm excited to try and see if I like that. It'll be a tool I pick up in the future, and when that happens, I'll let y'all know how I like it. The other tool that I think you'll really appreciate is some pins. I am not a big pinner, to be honest. I rarely actually pin unless I have something that really needs to line up perfect, and then I might take the time to pin. But having pins that have a silicone flat end to them so that you can actually iron over it and it's not going to ruin your fabric or your iron is a really good thing. And most of the time they don't cost all that much money. So it's a pretty inexpensive tool to pick up, and it becomes very useful. I also like to use clips instead. So I have a whole bunch of these clips. I love the little tub of them. And I use these when I'm putting labels onto my quilts. I'll clip the label in place while I'm working on the binding. Or if I have just a lot of layers where maybe there's a lot of seams coming together, center of a star or something where it's just really thick in that center point, I use the clip rather than a pin to keep everything lined up. I find that it works better when you're dealing with a lot of layers than a pin does. So a worthwhile investment. It can be a little bit more to pick up some of the pins, or sorry, some of the clips, but overall, it's worth it. Sorry. The last tool I want to talk about is my seam ripper. Now, I've had a lot of seam rippers that are, the little small ones where you take the cap off, you put it on the end, and you try and use it. I picked this one up at Rotary, California. It came from a company called Summit Wood Products, and it's amazing. The grip in the center fits my hand really well, so as I'm seam ripping, I can have a good solid grip on my seam ripper. I picked up the one that's double-sided, so one side is actually a stiletto so that I can press down on my fabric as I'm getting close to the needle and the edge is there and I can't get my finger in. I can use the little stiletto to keep guiding my fabric through and making sure that my seam stays straight. And the other side is my seam ripper. And we all want to say that we don't need a seam ripper, but I don't care what level of quilter you are, from beginner to advanced, we all use the seam ripper. And sometimes it is our best friend for a project. Even though we wish we wouldn't have to use it, we're glad that we have a good one when it's time. So having one that actually fits my hand, that I can hold on to and have a good grip on, I think is really worth it. And I'll have a link to that company in the description box below as well, just in case you want to check them out. But something to keep in mind when you're buying a seam ripper. And that's it for today. Those are my favorite tools that are pretty much essentials, and I either use them with every project or almost every project that I'm working on. I hope you find this helpful and can help get you started with the decision making of, I'm on a budget, what tools do I really need, and go from there. If you have any favorite tools of your own, please leave them in the description, in the comments section. I'd love to see what everybody else uses and thinks is the best. I might try some of them out as well. I'm always looking for some great tools. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed this. Happy quilting.